Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm going to be breaking down our next matchup for UFC Rio. In this one, we have Irina Alekseeva versus Beatriz Mesquita. Irina is 5-3 as a professional, 2-3 in her last 5 fights, while Mesquita is 5-0 as a professional, so 5-0 in the last 5 fights. That's literally her only fights. For Irina, she is 1-2 in the UFC. Got a knee bar over Stephanie Egger, but then most recently lost to Melissa Mullins, who just simply bodied her on the ground and just outgrappled her for 3 minutes straight. 3 rounds straight. And then she lost this June to Claudia Seguera in a fight where I honestly thought she would perform so much better, Irina, but Claudia was just simply the better fighter all the way around. Mostly better on the feet than she was on the ground, but nevertheless, simply a better fighter. As for Mesquita, this is going to be her UFC debut. She's 34, 5-0 as a professional. 4 of her wins are by submission. 1 of her wins is via an illegal up kick, where she was on the receiving end of that. In her most recent fight, she won the LFA women's bantamweight title. But the biggest thing is her jiu-jitsu background. So Mesquita is a legend in women's jiu-jitsu. She is a 10-time IBF jiu-jitsu champion in the gi, literally in the Hall of Fame, and has also won multiple Pan Ams and no-gi jiu-jitsu tournaments, as well as won gold medal in ADCC. So her grappling credentials are extraordinary. Besides Kayla Harrison, who, twice gold medal in judo, I'd say Mesquita has, what's on paper, some of the best grappling in this bantamweight division. Now, how that translates into the UFC, we shall see. But right now, off the bat, I can say her grappling is going to be a fucking nightmare for majority of the women's bantamweights. Because whilst most of them have some wrestling to them, but most of their wrestling is like top pressure, right? Going for the takedown, not really advancing position much, some ground and pound, but most of the time it's like chest to chest pressure, and it's kind of just laying prey. With a fighter like Mesquita, the last thing you want to do is take her down, as her guard is going to be so dangerous. I don't know exactly, like I said, how it translates to her getting punched in the face by a UFC level athlete. So far, so good. She's beaten her last 4 opponents. She's beaten all 5 of her opponents. Granted, one of them was via disqualification, but still. 4 of those wins, rear naked choke to all of them. I'm very, very curious to see what she can accomplish with what limited time she has. 34, going to the UFC now. A bit worrisome, but she made her debut about a year ago. So she's kind of on the fast track to get as much as she can without, wasting too much time. For Irina, she can do a bit of everything. I mean, not at a very good level. She is a very tough fighter, and she does go forward. She's kind of like a buzzsaw, more or less. She'll just come after her opponents with offense. And it works to some degree. I mean, she got a knee bar. But most of the time, fighters who are bigger than her and or just simply have some better technique, all just beat her. Like I said, Melissa Mullins was not only bigger, but had vastly superior ground skills, while Seguela was just a better striker overall, and even at times just better grappler. The trickiest part about this fight is like finding out Mesquita's level, because I can go about all day talking about her accolades and say, oh, well, on paper, her jiu-jitsu is so good, she should submit most of these fighters. But the problem is, when a jiu-jitsu practitioner comes in from, that sport to MMA, there's 2 big issues that can happen. One, they're not used to a sport where they can get hit in the face. So if they say, I don't know, go for a leg lock or content to be on their back, and then they start getting ground and pound, that can really mess them up psychologically. And not to sound disrespectful, more or less, but some jiu-jitsu fighters just don't take hits very well. And you see it, like Herbert Burns is a prime example. He's great jiu-jitsu, but he can't take a punch, man. He has such bad body language when it comes to that. that you can immediately tell when that guy's hurt. Now, granted, not all of them. Some of them can take a punch very well, like Mackenzie Dern example come to my head. Just like I've seen that woman eat a bunch of damage, and she still goes after her opponents like nothing happened. Like that's like she really has really steeled her nerves of like going, I'm gonna get punched in the face no matter what. I just gotta take it and keep trying to fight and trying to win. I don't know how that's gonna go for Mesquita. We're gonna find out. And I'm sure some people can say, "Oh, she faked, the up kick being that bad." Well, you know what? Her opponent shouldn't have fouled her. So take that as you will. I still think I'm gonna lean towards Mesquita. That ground game is just too good. And considering Irina has shown deficiencies on the ground before, if Mesquita has even a bit of wrestling to her, I think this will go her way. That's actually one of the other things I meant to say. The other problem that comes with certain jiu-jitsu fighters when they come in is they, fall in love with their striking, or when they have to play it on the feet, they don't have the necessary wrestling or wrestling technique to actually get fights to the ground. You've seen it multiple times. Just some fighters with extraordinary ground skills. Oh, excuse me. Just not having the rescue tongue twister on me. But basically the ability to wrestle properly and get fights to the ground is what I'm trying to say. You see him with, like, say, Brian Ortega, where I know he has improved his wrestling to a degree, but there's just some times in his career he doesn't look like he actually trained wrestling and mostly just focused on striking. So I'll say this, if Mesquita can like handle, dealing with offense coming her way, mostly, punches and kicks, she should be good. If she's able to wrestle, she should be good. Now, granted, in a matchup like this, I could literally see her pulling guard and finding success just because Irina does not have good grappling. Now, looking at like their physical specs, though, I don't think Mesquita is going to be able to muscle Irina down. Irina's 5'8" with a 66-inch reach. Now, interestingly, Mesquita has the same reach at 66, but she's going to be 4 inches shorter at 5'4". So I don't see her muscling Irina down. If she has proper wrestling technique, then she might have better luck. Or, I can see a negative fight IQ moment from Irina. She tries to take her down. Now, if she goes for it, goes for a takedown, that's just foolish. But if it stays on the feet, I think, Irina should win. But man, these odds, though, they give her no chance. Minus 650 for Mesquita, plus 450 for Irina. Man, give her no chance. But still, I do think Mesquita's skills should lead her to victory. And I'm going to pick her to win via submission. I just think, man, with those accolades she has, with the ground skills she has displayed so far in MMA, I think she can at least go far. I see her in a similar vein I did to Montoya. Yeah, Carol. Who was it? Oh, right. Michelle Montoya, who fought, 2 weeks ago at UFC Perf, Reyes versus Oldberg. Michelle Montoya. Montega, my apologies. But my point being is, like, she had clearly one skill set. It was her grappling. But she was such a strong athlete, she was able to get most of her opponent, Luana Carolina, down. There is going to be an issue with the disparity in height. Irina's going to be the bigger fighter. So I don't know if Mesquita is going to be able to take her down as well as some of her other opponents. But again, I can see him like even pulling guard and actually having some success with that. Just because she has the proper techniques to sweep, get top position, or hunt for a submission on the bottom, that should breed success. So with all this being said, I'm going to go with Mesquita, and I am going to pick her via submission. That being said, that's been my breakdown for this matchup. If you liked the video, comment and subscribe. Next matchup, we'll have Vitor Petrino versus Thomas Peterson. With that being said, I thank you all for listening. Take care.